So we got the 6.0 Power Stroke back here. We're gonna go and drop it off at the body shop. And since I made that promise to you guys like 3 videos ago, I'm gonna show you the rust that it has on it that we so badly need to replace. When we go over here, you can see some paint popping. Pretty bad. It got worse this last year. And then you start getting down here and this is where the worst part is. Shoo-wee. That's nasty. Nasty, nasty. I mean, you don't really see it too bad until about right here. You have to be kind of at a lower angle. I had actually caught someone last year running their hands down the sides of my truck looking for it, and I had actually found that rust. I think that was one of the most annoying things. Just the fact that, like, why do people care so much? Just super freaking frustrating. So I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna get it fixed next year. So that's what I had to explain myself to people why it has rust, which blows my freaking mind. I don't need to explain anything to anybody as to why this truck, I thought it was a lot cleaner than that. What does it matter? Like, I still have hundreds of thousands of more, which this is gonna sound very selfish, so I apologize in advance. I still have a lot more followers than any of you guys do. You know, I still have more support, more people that care, you know, to look at my content. And then these people, it's just like, yeah, well, I got a nicer truck. It's like, and that's the thing. No one gives a flying about your shit versus mine. So I don't know. That's like a touchy subject for me. I just got really frustrated thinking of that same memory again. But other than that, that's the last bit of rust we have on the truck. I have the typical surface rust underneath. This was a brand new bed like 2.5 years ago or so whenever I put it on. So went through, put some Coro Seal down the frame and the bed and everything on that side. Anyway, so we're about to go drop it off. It's a Monday. I got to go back to work after I drop this truck off. So let's do a little cold start since it's a little chilly outside. I guess we're not doing one for a second. So time to go get my other truck, jump this one, and then start it. I don't know, it's only been like, I guess it has been a minute since I started this poor thing. All right, so here's the final turbo SO for a while, boys. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I love this thing. And there she is, boys. So we took everything out of the truck that I can think of. Sometimes stuff stays outside of the shop for a few days and I don't want anything getting stolen, so I took my tuner out. The headlights I'm taking with me because they're going up to KC to get paint matched. And everything that is gonna need paint match is inside of the truck right now. Time to go back to work and go from there. So we are about to pick up our paint match parts for the 6.0 and gonna see how they turn out. This is a new body shop I've never taken it to, so I'm kind of nervous how it'll come out. Nothing bad against them, but I've always had bad luck with taking my stuff to shops. That's why I try and do a majority of my work on my own. So I guess this will be where we find out if I made a good or bad choice doing this. So the grill looks freaking amazing. So let me show you guys this real fast. Bro, check that out. You cannot tell me that doesn't look like oh my gosh, factory, dude. That looks so good. And then we got the plastic caps here. That's the tailgate molding. Here's the rear bumper, which I needed one very badly. And then Jordan's holding this one here. This is gonna be the valence that we did, but we got everything in the car. I couldn't fit everything in the truck. So the SUV was perfect. I didn't want my bed caps and stuff floating around because they're 8-footers. And then here's the caps. And then there's a little bed cap. So I think the 6.0 is gonna look mighty fine. As far as an update on the 6.0 being done, they had to do a little more work than what they thought. So it was originally supposed to be done in 2 days, but it looks like it'll probably be maybe later this week, beginning of next week. But either way, that's fine because I do not mind people taking their time, especially on the bodywork of the 6.0. And then here is the 6.0. So you guys obviously remember the last clip where I showed you what the rest originally looked like versus what it's going to look like now. So if we open this up, we have a brand new rust-free cab corner And I always forget what that part's called. But yeah, she is rust free, went through, cleaned everything up, and it's almost like there was never any rust there. And for everyone wondering, yes, this is metal. They did not go through and patch it up. That was actually one of the first things that they asked me. Are you looking to sell this truck or are you looking to fix it right? So I'm like, I'm looking to fix it right. The metal panels and everything. I have a few pictures of them actually cutting it out like here and welding it on. So I have tons of proof to back all this up. So I just figured it for as long as this 6.0 has had this rust and for all it's done for me, it needed some metal cap corners. And just as I've said in the previous video before, guys, you do not need to have the cleanest freaking truck in the world. This thing was a rusted freaking truck. You see all these dents and everything on it, and yet we still have so much support from everybody, people all over the US. So like, don't dwell so much on my truck's not as clean as these other people's, mine's not as nice, I don't have forged wheels, yada yada yada. You don't need all of that stuff. It's always how you portray yourself. Be original, make up your own content, and just set yourself apart from the others. Don't be that person that follows everybody's freaking lead. Being different is one of the best things that I've always done for myself. Even in high school, I was always different. I was made fun of a lot of the things that I did, but in other cases, it's took off, kind of like on the 6.0. So don't be worried what other people think of how your truck is portrayed. It's how you portray yourself and how original you are. So I'm not really sure what more proof you guys need. Like, I hid that rust for 3 years. It started popping up. Last year was pretty bad, and this year was the worst, where you could just stick your whole hand in it and it just progressively had gotten worse throughout time. And just like all of you, I have a full-time job. I didn't have $2,100 to dump into this freaking truck to fix the rust. So what did I do? I'm like, okay, screw it, I don't really care. And then this year I'm like, oh, okay, cool, my grinding last year paid off. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fix that rust. Like, we need to be setting goals for ourselves. So last year I did all that paint matching and a few different things, and I was satisfied with it. Okay, next year my next goal is gonna be to clean up this entire freaking truck, get rid of the dents, get rid of the rust, and finish painting everything that hasn't got painted red yet. That's my goal. This coming next year, what we're gonna do is completely repaint this whole thing. I'm gonna keep it the same red, but I'm gonna try and figure out a way to put some flake in it, so this thing will have its original vermilion red, but with some bass boat flake in it. Something cool like that. But enough of the talking. So over here, this was one of the last things that I had missed, but this is gonna be the cowl visor. I've always hated the factory black look on it, like this one, and I was actually gonna take this one for them to paint, but this thing was brittled and freaking cracked. This thing was just junk. I mean, it was cracking anywhere I tried to remove any of these tabs or screws just because of the engine bay heat. So I'm like, there's no point in me trying to fix that one. I'm just gonna buy a new one. Now for the total behind me on painting a valence, this bumper, grill, tailgate molding, bed molding, and that windshield plastic insert, I think ran me a total of like 250, 300 bucks is about what that all cost me to get paint matched, which is so much cheaper than doing it yourself, because last year I did a lot of paint matching on my own, and that ended up costing me like $900 because I kept having to redo stuff, going and buying more supplies. I tried doing it cheap the first time. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Ended up going and buying the good quality stuff, so I ended up spending an additional, like, I went from $300 to another $600, more sandpaper, more cleaning supplies, and so like I ended up spending like $900 on all my painting stuff. So this way, to me, obviously is a lot cheaper, plus there was no headache and freaking out. So I'm about, let's say, $300 into paint matching, rust and everything, $1,700 or so. So that's where I got the $2,000 plus taxes, so it came out to almost $2,200 for everything. But the actual rust itself to get fixed, I'm looking at about $1,700. So that's a little bit of a breakdown for those of you guys wondering how much something like that costs, which I don't think is horrible, because one of my buddies actually went through this rust repair himself, and he actually ended up paying $2,000 for the exact same thing that I ended up having get done. And I forgot to show you guys, so this is, I showed you guys this in the past before. This is why I'm replacing this one here. I like spray painted this thing a long time ago, years ago. You can see the black paint coming off of it, and then all the clips are actually broken off. And last year at Music City Showdown, I was giving a guy a ride back to his truck, and he slipped and caught his foot on this and ended up ripping this whole thing completely off. So it's been zip tied for almost a year now. So those zip ties did its job, and so let's start taking this stuff off, throwing a few parts on there so we can see what it looks like. Which I don't know why we didn't replace these longer back. I think I just always forgot about this. I was just like, I'll do it eventually. I'll do it eventually. Procrastinating. And then what's that saying? Procrastination is the assassination of all determination or of motivation. Procrastination is the assassination of all motivation, which is so true because I have put stuff off for I don't know how long, telling myself that I'll end up doing it eventually. And then what do? Never end up doing it. So yeah, don't procrastinate. It's just going to set you further back than you would have ever thought it would have. The way you got to think about things is every single day that you don't take action or pursue that dream, that thing that makes you get up every morning and go to your horrible job that you hate, what if that one day you sat inside and played video games, those 2 days you sat finishing binge watching a TV show is the time it's setting you apart from achieving your goal. So let's say your goal is 365 days away. I'm halfway there, 200 days away from quitting my job, from achieving my goals, things I would have never imagined. And now my goal is actually 202 days away because I binge watched for 2 days. Well, I felt tired one day at work and I could have done something else, so I took the week off. Now I'm 207 days away because I took 5 days off. That one day I slept in and didn't want to do anything puts me at 200 whatever. So you know what I'm trying to get out. Like, it's just pushing us back. The one extra day that we put back, although we don't think it's a lot, it adds up really quick. You do that every single year, and now that 365 days that should have only been 1 year has now turned to a year and a half because half of that year you spent procrastinating, so you didn't get as far as you should have. And that's the way I try and think about things. Like these past 2 days I stayed inside playing games when I could have been doing this. I could have been done, and I made the excuse it's too cold outside. I've done videos in the rain, I've done videos in the snow, and yesterday, although it was 25 degrees, I could have still been outside doing something, and I didn't do it. So we need to stop procrastinating. I'll put that on a t-shirt. Procrastination is the assassination of all motivation. We all need to get a tattoo of that. Write it down somewhere, put it in your pocket. So apparently I forgot to hit record in the process of going from the rear bumper to the front of the truck. So let me show you the rear bumper real quick and then I'll show you the front end. So the rear end looks way cleaner with just adding that plastic on it. It looks 10 times better. I got to throw the license plate on there, but with the paint matched license plate lights plus this molding, it adds so much to it. Like, honestly, that's just so wild how good that looks. And then over here on the front, this is the 6.4 valence. We'd actually did a video on that, so if you guys want to check out how to do this on your truck, check out my channel, and on there I show you how I did it. But this is the Harley Davidson grill on my 06 F250 with the 6.4 valence. But that looks amazing, other than that bird poop right there. But that just cleans up the front end so much, and I can't imagine how much better it's gonna look with the badge on there and the headlights. Now we still gotta go ahead and replace that black piece there, and that's basically it. And then for the engine bay, we got a few parts from Bless Performance that we're gonna install on there as well. We're gonna be taking some stuff up to powder coating, so once all that stuff gets done, I'll install that and we'll show you everything on the engine bay from Bless Performance in a separate video. Just because this video has already been drug on for a few weeks now, and so I'm anxious to get this one posted, so then that'll give me time to drop the other parts off to get powder coated, because that's going to take probably 2 weeks, to get back, being it's only a few parts. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I think that looks amazing. And I want you guys to keep in mind this truck is not perfect. It's still got its little scratches, paint chips, and little things like that, and eventually, hopefully by this time next year, we'll have this thing completely repainted and cleaned up. Although I've added a lot of nice parts, there's still chips in the paint from the front bumper, on the hood and everything, but I'm saving that for next year because obviously I don't got thousands of dollars to drop on a nice paint job. So this is why we do everything in baby steps, but I think this is definitely gonna look amazing once we get it done for this year, especially once we switch out these stocks. These are a good temporary setup, honestly, and I put them on Marketplace and they're still up there right now, and I'm looking to trade them. Ideally looking to sell, but right now I've had a bunch of people offer me okay stuff, but I have it priced a little high just because of the fact that the 6.0's wheels are on the 6.7, and if I sold these, it would be sitting on blocks right now, immobile, and I wouldn't be able to get it anywhere. So I have them priced a little bit high. Like, if someone gives me that, I'd be stupid not to take it for these wheels. But also at the same time, if they don't give me what I'm asking on them, then I don't need to sell them. So it's definitely going to look 10 times better once we get the rest of this little stuff done on it, especially the wheels, because we're going to be throwing some chromes on this. These will go back on the 6.0. What I'll probably end up doing is posting those and these for sale at the same time, seeing if I could sell them both all together to get a nice set of true forged brush wheels with red accents similar to that for the 6.0. So here's the new front clip, and hopefully in a week we'll get our headlights back from paint match and we'll have the front end more pieced together and looking a lot more like what it's supposed to be. So I want you guys to stay tuned, because in the next video, I'm hoping the truck should be done minus the wheel setup. But if everything were to go on schedule, I want to have it done by like the second week of March. That just really depends on when the wheels come in for this, so I can throw it back on the 6.0. And then seeing how long it's going to take for someone to fix that dent on the bed. And then we're going to be going to Custom Auto Works in Carthage, Missouri, and having him tint the freaking truck, and that is just going to make it look so much better. Throwing the new hood stack on there, so I'm going to take that one with the other stuff to get powder coated, put my fresh brand new one on the 6.0. And then once everything is completely done, we're going to take it to a paint correction, and we're going to try and have him go through, buff everything out, and make it look as clean as we possibly can until we get painted next year. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think down below on the semi-new look so far and our progress we made. And stay tuned for the next video, because hopefully in that one, the 6.0 will be done and fully put together.